So we've all been in this situation where we don't love the situation that we're in. We don't feel like we're being treated properly. We don't feel like we're working at our pay grade. We don't feel like we're fulfilled. And all of us are dreaming for this better life that in most cases, a job is just not gonna get you. Then we all discover words like financial freedom, entrepreneurship, business, financial independence, and we see how others have been able to design the life of their dreams by doing these things. And then we get the hope that maybe if we were to do these things, that we could create the life of our dreams. So I'm Robert-Eze, I'm a designer and entrepreneur. And in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you why I quit my job at 25, some of the things I learned, and then 5 practical steps that you can take in your journey if you're planning on taking the route of entrepreneurship. So let me put my glasses on because this is about to get serious. So entrepreneurship is the activity of setting up a business or businesses and taking on financial risks in hope of profit. So I see entrepreneurship as very similar to sport. In sport, you have athletes who put something on the line, which is their bodies, in hopes to win something greater, which could be a championship, it could be whatever it is. So entrepreneurship is a learned thing, just like sport. It's not a gene, you're not born with it or anything like that. But there are people who have an advantage because they've built the traits over time that make them fit for entrepreneurship. But in my opinion, it's a learned experience and it's practiced with knowledge. I believe that entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, but everyone can do it. If you learn the principles, if you learn some of the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, you can definitely do it. But everyone will not do it because it does take a lot. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of that stuff. So let's talk about why I quit my job. So at the time, this was back in 2021, I was working at an architectural firm. I was loving it. It was great. Loved the firm. And at the time, I was on multiple projects. Everything was going good. I mean, the firm was growing. I felt that I was a part of that growth in some ways. But I just felt kind of stagnant. At the time, I was bringing up certain things that I didn't feel like were heard. At the time, I was working on some projects that I didn't necessarily feel fulfilled in. And most of all, I felt that I was an entrepreneur at heart. If you watch my first video, I talked about my entrepreneurial journey and the way that I've been able to get to the place that I am right now. I felt that it was inevitable that I would be an entrepreneur just because I've been doing it for so long, even as a kid. So I felt like it was almost inevitable. And I knew that time was ticking and I wanted to be an entrepreneur as a young man and grow a legacy of financial freedom for myself and for my family and my family to come. So I had to be realistic with myself at some point. If I was to keep doing what I was doing at the time, would I be able to get where I was trying to go in the time that I wanted to get there? And the answer was no at the time. So that's why I took my leap. So it didn't take me long after that realization to actually take my leap. So while I was at my job, I started Render Vision, which is the company that I run now, a year before. Things were going okay at the time. I mean, things weren't like blowing up, but they were growing steadily. So I felt like if I was to take that leap, I would be able to have the time that I needed to go ahead and grow the business to another level. So let's talk about my plan after I quit my job. My plan, I felt, was pretty solid, but it all fell apart at some point, not too long after I quit. So I planned to rake in $12,000 a month right after I quit my job. It's funny, ain't it? So I'll tell you how I planned on doing it. I planned on, first of all, because I had created a relationship with the job I was at, so I was going to come in as a consultant. Also, I had took on another position at another company as a consultant, and they were supposed to be paying me a decent amount of money as well. I had crypto at the time, and I was staking it, and I was trading, and I was doing all those things, and I was making some consistent bread. So I felt that that would keep coming in. And then on top of that, I had my Render Vision income, which I wasn't paying myself that much at the time from the company because I felt that I wanted to keep as much money in the company to make it grow. So all of that basically kind of fell through. I also moved to another city, Charlotte, North Carolina, from Indianapolis, Indiana, around the same time. So the reason why the consulting gigs basically fell through is because I wasn't gonna be able to come in the office ever because I was in another city. And then crypto, we know what happened. Crypto is so up and down that the returns that I was getting, it was very volatile. And so when all that stuff fell through, I kind of was lost. I'll be honest, I was lost. Money wasn't coming through as fast as I thought it would be, but at the same time, I still had that vision. But things were rough, man. I can't lie, things were rough. There were a few times where I got kind of scared. I didn't know how I was gonna pay my bills. I was just kind of going. So then I started trying other stuff. I started trying to try other side hustles. I tried to do all types of things, because I'm feeling like I'm a hustler, right? So I'm gonna be able to get money somehow. But as I kept doing that, I kept taking more time away from my core company. When the foundation of my company hadn't been built yet, I learned that I just needed to focus on one thing for long enough that I could build a system, and then from there I would be able to go on to other things. So I did that, and my company was able to make well over 6 figures last year and grow pretty exponentially. We were also able to work on some of the coolest projects that I had ever done, which was super fulfilling for me. So let's talk about the lifestyle of an entrepreneur. So the lifestyle seems cool. Like, you see all these people on Instagram and on social media, and they're around Lamborghinis and they're living in penthouses and all that stuff. It seems cool, but it's not always cool, I'll tell you right now. So there's a lot of lonely days. There's a lot of days where you just kind of have to work. No one can really help you, honestly. You just kind of have to do it yourself, and you have to stay focused. So you can't be distracted. There was a lot of relationships that were lost for me. I lost some relationships because things weren't aligned, and whether that be with friends, significant other, we just couldn't get on the same page about it. But I also thank God for my family, who has been there since I started my entrepreneurship journey, and they've been super supportive of me, so shout out to y'all. But yeah, there's a lot of what they call delayed gratification. I know y'all hate hearing that word, but yeah, you gotta wait and you gotta be patient, and even on those days that things are not going right, you have to literally just gotta keep going. Sometimes when you see absolutely no results. But the benefits of entrepreneurship, man, it's so fulfilling. It's very worth it when you can look up, when you bring your head out of the water and you can see how far you've come just by staying focused and reaching a goal. Like right now, I could take a whole month off and my business is still gonna be okay. I've built the things that are able to have my business sustain even when I'm not there. And that feeling is amazing, honestly. I'm not saying I'm where I want to be, but where I am right now is super fulfilling. When you know you've created a system that makes its own money, you don't have to exchange your time for money anymore. And lastly, doing entrepreneurship in the way that I did it gave me so much clarity about my life. It made my life a lot simpler. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the videos. The 5 things that you can do in your process of taking the entrepreneurial leap. So first of all, you have to be aware of where you are in life. That's not for it to stop you, but it is to guide you on how you're going to do it. If you watch my last video, I talk about being aware of yourself, and when we become aware of ourselves and the things that we have going for us, marvelous things start to happen to us. A quote by Bob Proctor. So you got to understand that entrepreneurship isn't a linear process, and it's not the same for everyone. So you got to know where you're at in order to realistically create a vision of where you're going to go. You also have to know what's going on around you so you can be aware of how you're going to go about being an entrepreneur. So number 2, so you want to learn or sharpen a skill that you have to offer to your target audience, preferably something that you have a high interest in. So for me, niching down was one of the best things that I had ever done. You may not know from the jump what your niche is going to be, but it'll become clearer as you keep going, and you have to start somewhere. For Render Vision, we started with architects. We thought architects was our target market. But as we started putting advertising out, we started to realize that it's not architects as our target market, it's actually real estate developers. So we switched gears and we made that our target market. Honestly, I believe that if you don't select something that you have an interest in, or something that triggers you, or something that you love, or something that you hate enough to start a business out of, I don't know that it's gonna work. And I'll tell you why. The goings of entrepreneurship is tough, right? I just told you I had months where I didn't know what the hell I was gonna do. I didn't know how I was gonna pay for groceries, pay for rent, all those things. That's tough. So if you don't love it, if you don't love what you're doing, you'll probably quit, honestly, because it's not worth it. It's literally not worth you putting all that on the line to do this entrepreneurship thing. I'm not trying to be pessimistic or anything, but I do believe that you should pick a thing that you love. Pick a thing that you have high interest in. I believe you have a higher chance of it working out for you. Number 3, start building healthy habits. So a lot of people see the whole daily routine and stuff, and it looks sexy and it looks cool and all that stuff, right? But it's not just for show. It's not just for the healthy eating and working out and stuff like that. You have to be able to create your own cadence. You have to be able to create your own accountability. Because when you were at a job, you had to be at work at a certain time, right? You woke up at 7 a.m., you brushed your teeth, you took a shower, and then you started work at 8. With entrepreneurship, you can start anytime you want, but you have to be accountable for it to work out. It's just like anything else. So building healthy habits isn't just having a daily routine. It's about listening to positive things. If you increase the positive thinking in your life, I guarantee you things around you will start to work out. Also start reading, reading some self-help books, business books, and I'll get to some of the other stuff that you should educate yourself with. But yeah, start reading. A few books that you could read are The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You can actually read a book by Gino Wickman. It's called The Entrepreneurial Leap. It's a really good book to read before going into entrepreneurship. And also books like Think and Grow Rich, which help to expand your mind and expose you to another way of thinking that you might have not been exposed to before. So number 4, you want to build a knowledge base of the different things that have to do with business: accounting, sales, marketing, production, product, economics. Depending on what business you're in, you want to build a base of knowledge. For me, when I first started the business, I really dove into marketing, because I know that in architecture and design, we're not the best business people. Typically, we don't know marketing, we don't know sales. So I thought that if I could grow my business of understanding about these things, it would be a strong suit in my business and it would give me a competitive edge in the marketplace. So I binged on all types of books. I binged on YouTube, which is a huge resource when I was first starting my business. I started to understand the service business and production and how to build system and things of that nature. And it really helped out. And then last but not least, number 5, just leap. I know you were expecting me to say you need to have a plan, you need to have a financial budget, you need to do all these things, you need to have all this money saved up, but nah. I'm just encouraging you to jump. I know it might sound crazy, but you're literally never going to be ready enough. And even if you are, things around you are going to change. But when you leap, you show yourself that you're capable. You start to trust yourself that if I can do this, then what else can I do? You start to understand your abilities. And when you do all that stuff, you start to win. So in conclusion, entrepreneurship is not easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy, but it is so worth it. And I believe everybody is an entrepreneur. Everybody has some type of entrepreneurial spirit in them, and you can do it. But you will never learn unless you try. Whether that's while you have a job, jumping into entrepreneurship, whether that's leaving your job and jumping into the business that you already have going on, or whether that's you just learning more about entrepreneurship and how to be an entrepreneur. You'll never learn unless you try. I really see entrepreneurship as very similar to design. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to my Supercharge Your Business consulting session. So it's only for an hour, but in this consulting session, I'm gonna sit with you and really get in the weeds of why you want to start your business. If you have a business already started, then I'm going to give you some tips and I'm going to give you some strategy on how to grow your business. I was able to grow a company myself. I've been a part of other companies' growth. And I believe that I've kind of seen some of the things that need to be done to grow a company to where it needs to be and to make individuals independent, because I want to see you grow exponentially. So in this session, you're going to receive killer marketing strategies that are tailored to your business. I'll also give you a business model audit so you can understand what's working for you and what's not working for you. And then I'll give you advice on branding and positioning in whatever marketplace you're in. And lastly, I'll give you structural and organizational strategy and tips on how you can build your organization. So if you're interested in this, go ahead and check out the description to click the link and book a session with me. So what are your takeaways from this video? I want to hear back from you all about if you're starting your journey, if you're thinking about starting your journey. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you're struggling with so we can have a dialogue on some of these things. So feel free to leave a comment below. I'm going to respond to every one of them and tell me your story or ask as many questions as you want. Once again, I'm Robert-Eze. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If this blessed you in any way, go ahead and leave me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And if you think somebody else could be blessed by this, go ahead and share it with them. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.